Hey everyone, so I'm just doing a video tour of our tank that we've been kind of getting close to completing lately. We started this project about 14 months ago. We ordered the tank, the 240 gallon from Miracles out of Canada, and then at the other side here we have a 60-gallon macroalgae display tank. There's one seahorse in there now. We plan on adding more seahorses, maybe some pipefish to that. But that's just your standard 60-gallon cube. Don't know what brand we bought that one used. But we built our own stand and built the wall around the tank. So what is the fish room used to be part of our living room, and well, now it's no longer. So yeah, I guess we'll get a little bit more up close and I'll show you some of the stuff. Before we get into too many details, like about 3 weeks ago, the light for our refugium fell over and I was out of town for the week. Of course, everything always happens when you're out of town. But yeah, I was out of town for the week and there was no one to catch the mistake. And all the Cato in the Refugium, we also have a Refugium down below the 240. It all died off. By the time I got home, it was all pale. I just removed it so it would stop leaching what few nutrients were left in it, trying to mitigate the situation. And yeah, we had a lot of green hair algae outbreak. There's a little bit of cyanobacteria in the sand right now. The parameters did return back to normal last week, and the hair algae is receding. The cyanobacteria is definitely not nearly as bad as it was immediately after it. But so I mean, things may look a little messy right now, but they're getting back to normal. We bought a few extra snails and a long spine urchin to help with the macroalgae or the green hair algae. So this is our seahorse tank. Primarily it's a lot of chlorpa right now and green hair algae. The difficulty with this tank is that we can't throw a long spine urchin or some of the turbo snails in there because they'll eat the algae that we're actually trying to grow. There's about 8 or 9 different algae in here right now. It's just a lot of them are still small. And sorry about the green hair algae floating around. I did just try to clean some of the power heads. But we've got some dragon's breath back there. Dragon's tongue is this pink one that's growing like crazy. I've got red razor, red barb. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna get some more later. I just decided to hold off while everything gets back to normal. The clerp was fine for now. Gives the seahorse something to hide in. There, that's her right there. She's got real nice cirri on the arch of her head there. And yeah, we'll get some more stuff in there. In the next year or so. I'm sure a year from now there'll be several seahorses, several pipefish, maybe even some garden eels. Garden eels are something I used to keep in a smaller tank years ago. Had them eating live brine, and as well as even occasionally some of them would eat flakes. So, all right, well, the star of the show is our 240. It's got starfire glass on 2 sides. The other 2 sides are blacked out. Went with kind of like a 3-island landscape here. Kind of piled these up in the back. A lot of people will tell me about that I'm creating a dead spot, but there is actually a decent amount of flow getting back there. So if you can't see, in the very back wall there is space, and the way the flow in the tank goes, it rotates around forward to backwards. So the water is coming in behind this back wall. And no, it's not the highest flow area, but there's also no light getting back in there, so it's not causing a lot of like cyanobacteria growth. Sure, there might be some organics accumulating back there, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, this whole system's 375 gallons, and that's a pretty small area. If if that is more of a dead spot than I think it is. But we got a couple shelves here over the cave. Nice archway in the middle. Yeah. And then we got this little kind of rubble pile with some of the leftover rocks and an old snail shell, or conch shell, I should say. But yeah, so we just added the long spine urchin today, along with some turbo snails in this tank. Hopefully they start cleaning up some of this green hair algae now that our parameters are back down. We just added these lights last week. They are Reef Breeder Photon 24 inches. These are the version 2 plus. So far, they're pretty sweet. Got 4 of them. I think these are probably some of the most underrated fixtures on the market. They provide a spectrum. So if you look at the brands of LEDs they're using, as well as the number and the wattage behind them, they're almost identical to an AI Hydra 52, except for they have a few more royal blue and a few more cool blue LEDs in them. So a little bit more wattage there. What I really like about these lights is that every channel is only dedicated to a single color. And so there's 6 channels. There's 6 different wavelength diodes. So you can control just the reds, just the blues, just the greens, just the whites. You can control everyone individually, which makes it really great to really plan out the spectrum of light you're going to get. Looking at, I think the phone is recording the light pretty true to color right now. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's probably at the highest point that it gets at right now. Again, they're new, so I don't have them ramped up all the way yet, but I get a really nice even spread. I was able to save hundreds of dollars compared to any other fixture on the market. Any other fixture on the market, I probably would have only been able to afford 3, and I probably wouldn't have gotten the coverage like this. So, buying these allowed me to buy 4, still save a bunch of money, get great coverage and intensity and customizable spectrum for the tank. So far I'm really happy with them. Still got to work on the cord management for them. We'll get back in the fish room in a little bit. Livestock for the tank right now is we've got 3 tangs. We've got the Naso tang, the yellow tang, and the sailfin tang. We've got 12 chromuses, which those chromies were they were the first fish in the tank back in I want to say it was April we added them. It's now December. We haven't lost a single one. I got 12 of them thinking, half of them will go, and then we'll just have like a little school of 6 or so. But no, we've had 12 the entire time. So they're one of my favorites. So I'm glad that they're sticking around. They're not picking each other off or disappearing. So we've got 3 wrasses. We've got the red fairy wrasse that's in the back there. We've got a Melanaris wrasse that's right up front here. He's kind of being a jerk to a lot of the new snails. And we've got the yellow wrasse. And the yellow wrasses are probably one of my favorites. And when we got this guy, he was really little, and I was shocked how fast he got up to almost adult size. Let's see here. What else? We have a red or an orange stripe or orange spot goby and a pistol shrimp. They live right in the center there underneath these rocks. Right now their hole is closed off, but they usually only come out when feeding time, when all the pumps come off. Then they'll decide to come out. We've got a red scooter blenny here, and let's see here. Trying to see if I can find any of. We got our fox face back there. And then there's a mandarin goby somewhere around here. I don't see him at the time being, but he kind of moves in and out of the rock work a lot. So, yeah, we've added several corals over the past couple months. We just started adding coral, so everything's just frags right now. We've got some zoanthids. I don't know the names of them. I don't follow the names. I I buy what I think looks good and fits my budget. So we got some frags of zoanthids around. I believe that's a Leptostraya there, the green one up front. And we've got some, I won this one at a frag swap. I know it's a little bleached out on the phone, but that is the Jason Fox jack-o'-lantern lepto. It's something I've wanted for many years, and I'm so glad the price of them actually came down, and now I can afford them. We got a little black spine urchin back there. I believe this is a pipe organ coral. That was another one we won. The last frag show we went to, we ended up winning the raffle 4 times, and came home with 4 really nice pieces of coral. The Jason Fox, we got this pipe organ coral. I forget the name of these. I think he said they were Sunny D's. They're a little off right now because the lighting that we had on the tank just before these reef breeders was not the greatest. And we got a little blue mushroom back there, a little anemone there. The anemone's a little unhappy right now. It also didn't like the previous lights, but it's been opening up a lot better now that the reef breeders have been on there for a few days. As well as right now, it's a little unhappy because I got the flow cranked all the way up. I'm getting things stirred up. You know, I do it about once a week. I crank the power heads up and just try to get the tank cleaned out. So that's happening right now. If things look like they're a little chaotic, that's probably why. Then I got these 2 encrusting ones. I believe the one in the back that's green and brown is an elkhorn coral of some sort. And this blue and brown one up front here, that's got to be a pretty close to an elkhorn coral. It's been a while since I've focused on coral, so I'm not the most familiar with all the names anymore. We also got some of those pink clove polyps there. They fell off their frag plug and were lost for a little while. So I just found them the other day getting moved around, and so the frag used to be quite larger, but yeah, they were probably tucked back in the rockwork for a little while and probably a little unhappy because of it, and probably died back a little bit. But they're out now, and you know they're doing all right. And right back there, that's just a red. Oh man, I can't. Red digi back there. It's a little browned out right now. Hopefully these new lights will get it back up to what it used to be. So yeah, we're planning on, I think we're probably good with softies for now. I've always liked to focus on LPS and SPS. They've always just seemed like more interesting corals to me. So that's probably what we're going to focus on moving forward with this tank. So, alright, so the fish room, it's going to be tight in there. It's going to be a little difficult to shoot stuff and, you know, make it not... I mean, everything's going to look like it's 2 feet in front of your face because, well, it is. It's not the biggest fish room. So here's the fish room. We got the couple water barrels. We use one for draining water out of the tank during a water change. Make sure that we're removing the same volume that we're about to add. The second barrel is our RO reservoir. And with the RO reservoir, we typically just fill it up, mix salt in it, and then, you know, get it up to temperature, and then we do the water change, and then we'll just fill it back up with RO water. I got a bucket of salt. That's all of our testing equipment, as well as some miscellaneous hardware, spare parts like a spare optical sensor for the auto top off, all that kind of stuff that goes in the box at the bottom there. Try to be as prepared as we can for when things don't go our way. Got a little stool here, helps you get into the tank. And let's see here. So this was my cord management cabinet, and it's a little chaotic right now because I haven't gotten around to getting those reef breeder LEDs put into the cabinet. It was quite tidy up until we put these lights up there. But yeah, so it's a tangled mess, and we got 2 dedicated 20 amp circuits up there. Here, I can turn the light on in here. Ooh. Yeah, it makes it look quite yellow. Here, we'll leave it the nice aquarium blue. Pile of crap in the back, you know, and here's our sump. It's going to be pretty hard to show you guys the sump with how you know, we do have 2.5 feet of space here behind the tank, but just with the way the phone records, everything looks so tight. So we've got a Skims internal skimmer there. It's like 200 and I think it's like the 220 model or something like that. It's rated for 500 gallons with a medium bio load. So yeah, I don't know. We're probably going to have a pretty heavy bio load. We'll see if this thing keeps up as we go ahead in the future. So here's our Refugium. That's the light that fell over. I do not like having the light pushed up to the glass. I wish I had something that would hang over it. But unfortunately, it's just not in the budget right now. Maybe one day we'll get one of those Kessels in here. I might remove this center brace. The only reason I think that removing the center brace is okay with this setup is because there are 6 glass baffles that are siliconed in, and they should stop the tank from bowing without that, you know, because they're going to hold those 2 panes of glass at the same distance apart from each other. We got a little carbon reactor here. We don't run GFO in it. I usually just fill each canister halfway up with carbon if I need it and let it go. And we got our Varios. Looks like a little piece of algae made it out of the Refugium and into the screen of the pump recently. We'll have to clean that out next. But so we got Varios 8, that 2,700 gallons per hour. We run it at full speed all the time, and that fuels both tanks. So we've got our manifold, four outlets go to the 220, and we've got one that goes to the 60, and that's about to change. So we tried to reuse the lock line that came with the tank, which drops down to 1/2 inch, and normally we plumb everything 3/4. I'm gonna cut this one day and just build a spray bar for this rather than having 2 lock line pumps that go into our 60. For those who aren't familiar, a spray bar is pretty common in seahorse and pipefish tanks. It creates laminar flow rather than random flow, and the laminar flow helps keep food suspended, gives these picky eaters more time to eat. It's not the best for like removing detritus from the system, but you know, given the amount of macroalgae and stuff in there, I don't think we need the random flow as much to keep like oxygen and nutrients down. I've always had laminar flow in my seahorse and pipefish tanks, so that's just what I'm going to go with here shortly. I just need the time to make those changes. You'll notice I've got some red mangroves growing out of my seahorse tank. Those are always one of my favorite endeavors, even though I don't think I've ever gotten mangroves to get any more than maybe twice that before they die. We even have a separate light up on them this time, so they're not just using the aquarium light, they've got their own light. That light up there also kind of lights the macroalgae tank too. It's a light designed for plants. And the primary lighting for the 60 is this version 1 reef breeders that I've had for, I don't know, at least 5 years. It wasn't used consistently throughout the 5 years, so I mean it's still in great shape, it's still clean, it's no electronic issues. My old reef breeder lights just started going on us this year, which is what made us, you know, switch to these new ones. But yeah, they lasted almost 5 years before they started having any problems, and you know, I think that's pretty typical for electronics that are, you know, suspended over aquariums. Yeah, I don't think many other brands, you know, can claim that their fixture is going to last longer than 5 years or so over a tank. I think that's just pretty standard no matter what you buy. So our drains here are 1.5. We got a ghost overflow, and that's going to be changed. I cannot stand the ghost overflow. I cannot get this darn thing to self-start. I've played with these standpipes like over and over and over again. There's one thought I have about shortening the amount of pipe that goes down into the sump here, so you can see that the primary and secondary, which are these lower ones, Those are the primary and secondary drains. They go about 7 inches under the water. I thought that maybe if I shorten those, there'd be less pressure built up in there as the water rises, and that they'd be able to force some air bubbles down below it. Sorry about the bad shots. It's hard to turn around in here. But that's really, it's like the last thing I can think would be causing it not to self-start. It's frustrating because then you got to listen to the emergency drain go. One of the things I did when I did the emergency drain is I didn't plumb it under the water line. I left it so it would splash and make a little noise to catch my attention if it was ever running. And don't do that, because then you get salt spray all over. You know, power goes out, comes back on while you're at work. You come home, there's salt spray everywhere. The gurgling noise from the emergency drain should be plenty to catch your attention. So, yeah, I mean, we got changes. It's a work in progress. We still got to add cabinet doors. Just recently I got around to putting the cabinet face on, you know, this trim that goes around the tank. You know, it'll be cool. We're thinking frosted plexiglass doors with white trim, and we're going to get some blue LEDs to put on this face of the cabinet, go all the way around, and kind of illuminate the frosted plexiglass. So the frosted plexiglass will, you know, glow blue, and hopefully that kind of makes it look kind of more like part of the aquarium, I guess. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to give you guys a tour of everything, and, you know, show you around what I've been working on for the past year. It's been quite a hectic journey. Oh, there's our mandarin in there. Yeah, I just spent way too much time contemplating stuff about plumbing and, you know, electrical and how I was gonna run everything. And in hindsight, I mean, if you're anything like me and you're working on a plumbing project, just start cutting. Just start, you know, cutting and start cementing one piece at a time and work your way from point A to point B, because I spent a good 2 weeks just sitting there contemplating about how I was going to do the plumbing, and I don't know, it didn't need to be like that. So yeah, I guess really the only other thing I can brag about is the floor drains. So we got these plumbed in. We got 2 of them. The lids pop off here. They're a little stubborn, but the lids pop off, and bam, all your water goes right down the floor. I haven't carried a bucket since I started this project, which has been nice. You know, it's just when you take your time, or I shouldn't say that because I just told you guys just to start cutting and gluing PVC, but you know, when you plan things out, it's a whole different story than the other tanks we've had in the past. And you know, I never did like carrying buckets or spilling water on the floor, or you know, just issue after issue, trying to crawl under some tiny, you know, stand. And you know, building it yourself was really allowed me to do everything that I wanted on this project. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. You know, it's can't wait till the finishing touches are all done. I think it'll look pretty awesome. I'll try to post another video for you guys when we get those cabinet doors up, or maybe I'll just post some photos. But alright, well, you guys just listened to me talk about my aquarium for 24 minutes, so I'll let you guys go. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any comments, things I can make better. But yeah, I mean, it's been going good, and having a tank this size has been, I love the stability. Like, nothing ever changes. You know, the calcium, the alkalinity, they're always up there. I know we don't have a lot of coral right now, but like things like the pH never fluctuates more than 0.04 between day and night. That's great. You know, the Apex has been tracking everything for us, and yeah, it's nice to have a system set up this way. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching, and have a good one.